Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are doing a Q&A to answer the questions that you guys have had. So the first question we have is, how did we meet? So I worked at a coffee shop and she was a customer that used to come through, and one day I gave her my number on a little stamp card. It was Dutch Brothers. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. We started dating and then we eventually got married.
Yep, that brings us here.
Yep, and we've been together 6 years now, and we've been married for 4. And then the next question we have is, what do we do for work? So I'm a welder. That's what I've done for the past 3 years.
I am an office manager. I was an office manager. We did leave our jobs to come here. So now my position at that company will be as a remote position, as a contracted employee to help with big projects. Okay, so the next question is, what kind of research did we do that led us to wanting to live in Alaska, and how did we end up wanting to live off the grid? That is a pretty extreme thing to want to do, to move to Alaska and to also be off grid. Obviously, Alaska is a very, very intense state. There's a lot of weather. The winters are very, very cold, and there's a lot of wildlife. So we ended up wanting to go to Alaska just because initially we were just fascinated by it. We loved the idea of the amount of kind of like untouched land that is out here. There's very few people that live here compared to where we grew up, which was in Phoenix, Arizona, which Phoenix alone has 2 million people, and all of Alaska has, 700,000 people?
Yeah, it's like under 800,000.
Yeah, so we knew that we wanted to go somewhere that had the opportunity of a lot more freedoms. So we wanted to be able to hunt on our own land, being able to have like a shooting range on our own land. Having a well was a really big one. Self-reliance in general was really big. And we wanted somewhere that we knew that there would be a very tight-knit community where you could ask your neighbor for help and it wouldn't be putting anybody out, that they would want to help you. And, if there's a big storm, they check in on you and make sure that you're okay. And Alaska was always kind of a pipe dream to us. We thought, let's start off grid in northern Arizona, and then maybe one day we can get to Alaska. And after quite a bit of research of just looking online, we found YouTubers that live in Alaska that are doing it off grid or in remote areas. There's some TikTokers that I follow as well that do the same thing. They're in remote Alaska areas. And it just kind of made us realize that we didn't need to settle for somewhere like northern Arizona, and that we could go after it because it was possible and people were doing it. And I think that was our biggest restriction when we first started looking at Alaska, was it's not possible to homestead and we can't have a garden. And it was, we had the idea of Alaska that everybody has when you don't know anything about Alaska, is like, absolutely no way. There's bears everywhere. The moose are going to kill you. The winters will kill you. So it was just realizing that Alaska was actually very much so attainable.
So the next question we have is, why Wasilla specifically? We didn't necessarily choose Wasilla. We kind of just wanted to be near a town that had all the amenities, grocery stores, mechanics, a Home Depot, a Lowe's, things like that for building material. And Wasilla had all of those things, and it still wasn't a giant city, because obviously we just moved from a big city. We didn't want to move to another city. We were kind of trying to get out of the city, so it was just kind of that perfect mix of, it had a big enough population with enough amenities, and it was still kind of had that small town feel. So that's why we chose Wasilla. Okay, so next question we have is, how much time until we finish the project? So it's probably going to take most of the summer. That's our plan, kind of, with all the outbuildings and the outhouse and a woodshed, things like that. Hopefully we get it done a little earlier.
I think overall, it's kind of going to be a never-ending project. There's always things that we're going to want to change and we're going to want to add to the property. So just for us getting set up, I would say the entire summer for sure.
Next question is, when do we expect to have the house on the property? Hopefully within the month.
Yeah, I would say 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, today is May 14th, so hopefully by the end of June we'll have the house on the property, on the foundation. hopefully insulated with windows and doors in. That would be really nice. That's the goal. So what are we doing for sewage? We're going to have an outhouse. We're also going to we'll probably end up running some sort of little plumbing line for the gray water. Are we getting a well? Yes, we are getting a well. Hopefully that'll be done within, as soon as possible. Once the land is cleared, then we can have the well company come out and they can assess the property and see where they can get their truck in to drill the well. Do we have plans for electric, and are our neighbors giving us ideas? So we do have plans for electric. We're planning on doing solar. We already have the batteries and the inverter and the charge controller, all that stuff, the solar panels. What are our long-term goals and plans?
I think for our long-term goals and plans, I don't think that the cabin that we're getting delivered is going to be our forever cabin on this property. I think ideally we'd like to build something ourselves and maybe a little bit bigger, because the cabin it's a 14-foot by 24-foot cabin. And we think that that's probably going to be enough for a while, but I think after that we'll probably want something a little bit bigger just to have more space for indoor things. We plan on having like a shower house or a bathhouse, but I think eventually we'd probably like to have access to it from the house itself. So I think eventually that's our big long-term goal, I think, is to have to build a slightly larger house. And long-term goal, sheep are one of them. That's a long-term goal. Bees would be really cool. We want a dog really bad. We have 3 cats right now and no dogs, so we definitely want to get a big dog, especially if we're going to have sheep. We would like to have a livestock guardian dog. Chickens are in there. We really want chickens. Hopefully maybe by next spring we can get some chickens and have that all set up, but that all requires us building things. We have to build a spot for chickens and probably clear out a little bit of space to have a chicken coop. So I think that's it on our list of.
Yeah, I think our long-term goal would be eventually we want a homestead, and that was a big reason why initially Alaska was always on our list, and initially we kind of nixed it off the list because we didn't think you could really grow food up here. We didn't think you could have animals up here. So that's why we were considering Midwest. That's a great spot for growing, great spot for livestock. Like she said, we found a channel on YouTube, and they had chickens, they had solar. They were doing all the things that we wanted to do that we didn't think you could do in Alaska. We didn't think you could grow food up here, and you totally can't. So I think that would be our long-term goal, is really just to grow as much food as we possibly can and have some animals. So next question, are we worried about winter? The cold and dark winter of Alaska.
I would say yes and no, because I'm
worried about winter, yes.
I'm not worried about it because I know at the end of the day, this is where we're supposed to be. I know that we're supposed to be in Alaska. Without a doubt, we're supposed to be here. So that's why I'm not so worried about it, because I know if we're meant to be here, then we are going to get by, But I am worried about the cold, considering that we're from Arizona. We've dealt with very, very intense summers, so pretty much the opposite of
the
winter here.
Of Alaska.
Yeah, a lot of heat. 115 was normal, and 105 is a cool day during summer in Arizona. So I think it's going to be a really big adjustment, especially the first winter, because we just aren't used to the cold. We're used to raging heat and sun. So I think the darkness is what's going to get to me more than the cold, to be honest. I think the dark will affect me a lot more than the cold weather will.
So yes, I am worried about winter. It's the exact opposite of where we came from. It's very dark. It's very cold. The driving conditions are going to be way different. There's going to be ice where we're not used to having ice. Like, we don't have ice in Phoenix. There's no, you have to buy ice from the store if you want ice. It just doesn't exist there. So yeah, I'm worried, but I'm also excited to experience it. And I am looking, we're looking forward to the warm fires and the hot soups and the kind of cozy days inside the warm cabin. Okay, last question is, have we met any other neighbors?
We've met all our neighbors.
Yes.
Except for the people back here behind us. but the people that live on our street, we have met all of them.
Everyone is super nice. They've been really helpful so far. We pulled over to the side of the road yesterday when we were leaving to check something, and someone immediately pulled off to the road and they asked if we were okay, did we need any help. So everyone has just been very kind and generous. Our neighbors currently have actually let us use the electric, hook up to electric, and hook up to water while we're living in our RV, so we didn't have to haul water in, which was a huge help and a huge blessing. So,
and if you guys follow us on TikTok, that is a different neighbor that than who is helping us clear all of our land. So we have the neighbor that's helping us clear the land and grade it with his tractors, and then we have the neighbor that's letting us use his electric and well because he doesn't live there full time.
So yeah, so far everyone has been just very kind, very helpful. It's been great so far. The people up here have been really nice.
I would say that's probably the biggest culture shock so far.
Yeah, it's really different from where we're from.
The community that you have out here is wildly different than what you have in Phoenix. You know, you could be pulled over on the side of the freeway in Phoenix and nobody is going to stop for you. It's rare if somebody, they do not care. You are on your own. So it's pretty incredible to see just how generous and how helpful people are out here.
All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for this video. This is our first YouTube video.
Yeah, welcome to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And thank you so much to all of you guys who are coming over from TikTok. We so appreciate your support over there. It really means a lot to us. It's kind of what is allowing us to start this whole journey, and hopefully this can be continued and this can allow for a lot more freedom and opportunity for us out here, and to bring you guys along with us on this incredible journey, our wildest dream coming true. We're really excited to get to share that with you. So don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.